welcome everyone, and happy Halloween to you. As always, I'm delighted and excited to be here. Halloween is one of those holidays that makes me smile. I get to play, or some people say I get to be who I really am. Might have to give that some thought. Have you gone about and out and run and done all of your things, or are you one of those people that's, "Oh, no, Halloween is evil, not having it"? A lot of people don't know the origins of Halloween. It was actually created as a way to keep evil spirits away. The idea was to put on masks and costumes and hide who you really were and become ghoulish to keep unwanted spirits away. Kind of interesting if you think about it. Now, excluding religious connotations, because if you are Wiccan or you practice craft, you see Halloween in a very different way. It's a very sacred time of the year. It is when the veil becomes thinner and it makes communicating with the other side a bit easier. Now, in my belief, we are always able to communicate with the other side. And I know that most people see that as true simply because when someone passes, we often have peculiar things that happen. You ever notice that somebody will say, "Oh, strangest thing. My Uncle Bob passed and I went home and his picture just fell over, or the lights flickered, or some other peculiar happenstance takes place." The other side is always with us. And it's kind of funny if you think about it, because we think in terms of the other side. And in reality, we are all one. In the same way that religion, and I'm going to use the term religion in general terms, not any specific religion, because what I have found with cross comparative studies is that the majority of the religions, well, 90%, 99% actually, pretty much have the same philosophies. Yes, some of the names are different, the nuances can be different, though there is more alike than not. And there is always a spiritual component connected even in religion. So it's kind of a fascinating thing. Perhaps you'll take a quick peek and see what the roots of Halloween are and see what you think. All right, I think we have Cheryl in Canada, if I read that correctly. Yes?
Yes,
All right, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I had a great day entertaining some ladies, believe it or not, at a high tea. And the tea actually was cocktails. So I found that interesting. But they were a lot of fun.
Sounds good to me.
Was there a particular area of focus you wanted me to look at, or did you have a specific question?
Not really, just general. What's coming up for me in the next month?
Okay.
And I guess are my finances going to change?
All right. I'd love to say as of November, yay, everything's great. I would be fibbing, so I don't want to say that. However, I will tell you that 2025 is going to be a lot more auspicious than 24. Things will become easier. They'll be a lot more consistent. And I feel like that's been a major issue here in 2024. Inconsistency, like you can have money and then all of a sudden you're waiting for more money to come in, and for some reason there just doesn't seem to be enough coming in.
Oh, you
2020.
got that right. I had an injury that took me out for 8 months this year.
Right. So it's been a struggle this year. However, next year, again, I'd love to say, first day of January, wow. You're going to have to wait a little bit, but the overall impression is, I'd say mid-February, latest mid-March, you should start to see that consistency coming back into your life. I feel also that you are going to recoup a lot faster between December and end of January than you have this whole period, which seems kind of like an oxymoron, because you would think, well, you've had months and you should be rapidly getting better. And yet I feel as if the stress that you've been dealing with has kind of delayed your ability to heal quickly. Keep in mind
Okay.
that You are getting better, stronger. You will be able to return to the majority of what you were doing. And yet, you still have to be mindful of your physical body. In this period of time, though, it's really great if you start working with some visualization tools. And I can give you a real simple one, which is to literally close your eyes, take like maybe 2 minutes out of your day, and just envision what do you look like when you feel really good? And then take notice of if you felt that way, what would it feel like? So go to look like and feel like, and then just stay in that moment, a minute maybe.
Okay.
Try to do that on a
Okay.
consistent basis. And it's funny because the word consistent keeps running through my head, which tells me much of what you've experienced, and not just this past 8 months, but this past year and a half, has been about inconsistency. Having to deal with
Hmm.
money, having to deal with health, having to deal with relationships. It's like, oh my gosh, everything all at once. And it's kind of the universe's way of saying, okay, take a breath, slow down, and really get clear about what you want. Because what I get is you want to be happy, but if you're asked specifically, what is that to you? It's kind of a mixed answer. It's time to get
Okay. Yeah.
really, go ahead, hon, I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to get very
Great.
clear. We seem to have a lapse here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm here.
Okay. This is a great opportunity for you because you're not running to business every second. It's a great opportunity to say, okay, what is it that really makes me happy? And if you think to yourself, well, I don't know, I really haven't felt that happy in a while, maybe sit down with a piece of paper and write down all the things that make you unhappy or uncomfortable or ill at ease or nervous. And then write the opposite and get familiar with the opposite. And so, if you're sad, you're happy. If you're frustrated, you are, let's say, um, excited or inspired. But take maybe a little bit of time to just sit and really isolate what is it that happiness means to you. Because I don't get you as an unhappy person. This is the irony here. To me, you're somebody who, when you're at your best, everybody wants to be around you because you're just that type of individual. You can be very gregarious at times, excuse me. Though this past year and a half, it just hasn't been a part of your program. It hasn't been a part of how you've seen yourself. And I feel like a lot of that it was just simply not feeling as if you were in the right place, not feeling as if you were being supported in your life. And I feel like that's emotionally as well as physically. Just know that there's a new cycle that is coming at the beginning of the year. And again, it's not day one, but it is relatively quick. If you're able to do what we're talking about, take a few moments to ask yourself, what does it look like? And then ask yourself, what does it feel like? And embrace that for just a moment and do that consistently for 7 days a week, even 5 days a week. You will find that as the season moves forward and you get to next year, little happy occurrences are going to start showing up because we tend to vibrate at a certain frequency depending on what's going on in our life. And sadly, that means if you're not feeling good, you attract more of not feeling good, or you hear more stories about not feeling good, or people call and they're like, oh, poor you, instead of, I have faith in you, instead of, your personality is such that you absolutely have to feel better immediately. You follow what I mean? Did I lose
Totally.
you, Sharp?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay. The other thing here is when it comes to interpersonal relationships with family, with loved ones, you may need to step
Hmm.
back a little and allow yourself to just take care of you. It's interesting because that seems to be something in the air today. I had that a lot today earlier with some of these ladies at a party that I was at. There seems to be this push to understand the self better, to recognize what your needs are more. Now, that doesn't mean be selfish and totally ignore everybody else who needs your attention, but it does mean allowing yourself a little more nurture time. As
I
to
can do
working,
that.
okay, good. And I will finish up with as to working, you may want to switch things up a little. And I mean, I don't see you doing the same thing beyond June of next year. My overall impression is getting connected with something else that lifts your spirits more. All right, my friend?
Yes, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great night.
You too. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. I believe we have Vanessa from Denver on the line.
How are
Oops,
you?
totally off on that. Dover. Sorry. How are you?
Good, good.
All of a sudden, I wear a big hat and I can't read, I can't hear, I can't see. Are you enjoying Halloween? I hope.
Yes, we are
Good.
having a great time for Halloween.
I'm so glad. Feels like there are spirits around. And when I say that, I don't mean like woo woo, I mean spirits like drinking spirits.
Right?
Good. You'll have a great night then.
Yes, indeed.
There's a whole bunch of travel coming up for you. There's a whole bunch of party interactions coming up for you. There's 25, 26, 27, so a 3-year cycle. And I'm just diving in because it's so strong. I wanted to get this out before it goes to something else. But 2025, 6, and 7, you're going to find that you're having more playtime than you've had ever in your entire life. There's just going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, a lot of playtime. There is something though that I feel that hits November next year, not this year, but so 2025 feels like kind of beginning, possibly middle of November, that you think, oh my gosh, what just happened to my world? Please know that it's temporary. It's not a permanent situation. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now
Right.
that's out. Do
Looking
you
out for
have
that.
okay. Do you have a specific question that you'd like to ask?
um, I was just wondering if you felt like my mother's presence around.
Okay. The overall impression with your mom is on occasion she's around you. I know we'd all like to think that our loved ones are with us every single second of every day, but I'm not getting that with her. I feel like there's a lot of confidence in who you are as a person. I get the
Mhm.
feeling that as she sees you live your life, she's confident that you don't need her, which is kind of a weird thing to say because, we hope that we always have that sweet connection with our mom, that even when they're gone, that they're putting their arms around us. And your mom does do that for you, but I don't get it all the time. I get it more as almost like a visitor coming over to check on you periodically just to make sure all things are good. And yet I'm not getting
Okay.
that consistency. I will say, and it's funny, the word consistency comes up again today, or consistent. If you'd like to connect with her more,
Mhm.
if you're not averse to it, create like a little altar. Now, I don't mean a little altar where there's all sorts of statues and big things in the middle of a room. I mean,
Right. As a
a
matter of fact, I did that this Halloween, not even thinking, anything about it, but I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make like a little altar for her. Never occurred to me to do it before.
okay, then you're right on target where you need to be. If you do that, you will find that she comes to you more frequently. And you may find that you feel her more when you're like nodding off to go to sleep or first thing in the morning when you're in that alpha state versus beta. Beta is our waking normal state. Alpha is when we're just kind of transitioning into sleep, but we're still aware of things. And it's a deeper
Mm-hmm.
state of consciousness. But I feel as if creating this little altar, this little space in honor of your mom. Not again, not a shrine where it's got to be 1,000 things, just this
Right.
area
Just something
that's
small. Yeah.
connect. Yes, you will find that you feel her presence more because she will be drawn more towards you more frequently.
Okay.
You do,
All right. That's
so
fantastic.
you do have someone else around you, but I feel like it's more in the lines of a grandfather
That
and the overall. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that would make sense in a way. I'm just not sure which grandfather it is, though.
Okay. I get somebody who used his hands a lot. So that to me would be somebody who used his hands creating things or working on things, as well as like either to grab your face or to just touchy feely type of thing.
um, hmm. That could be either one of them also, because I know my on my dad's side, that grandfather, he had a bakery that he would use his hands a lot there, and all used to dance with me. My other grandfather um, was in the military. I'm not sure what he did in there and all, and he was also very loving, very huggy.
Okay. Feels as if it's the first one, because again, I get doing things specifically with the hands, not just the
Uh
touchy feely. And this is touchy feely in a good way. Okay, just to make that
Right,
clear for
right.
anybody who's wondering, it's good, like hugs and kisses. But it feels to me like it's the first one that you mentioned. But
Okay, that would make sense. I was very close with him.
I get him around you a lot, and that's
Oh,
just. I will say it's interesting. We're never supposed to have favorites, and though sometimes we do. Sometimes our grandchildren are more our favorites than our own children, or we have
yeah.
two children and there's one that we favor more than the other. And again, I shouldn't say that because we're not supposed to have favorites. Mm,
But that makes sense because yeah, I used to get picked on a lot because I was told I was the favorite. So
okay, then you know who it is and you understand.
yeah, yep.
Okay,
It's yeah. Oh,
I
that's
hear
great. That makes
moving.
sense.
I hear moving. And if you hadn't given some thought to changing residence, just know that there is something that's going to come up here within the next, I'd say, 8 to 10 months. And I get the feeling that it has a lot to do with loved ones on the other side wanting you to have more light in your life. Now, I don't know if that means light as in lighter weight of carrying things, as in, payments, or if that's more light as in literal light in the space. But I'm getting more light and a push to make a change as far as residents.
Oh.
Just that,
Hmm.
this is not a bad thing. It's not a sense of, oh my gosh, we have to move. That's not it at all.
Right, right.
This,
Yeah. That's
this
interesting.
is a feeling of, oh, look at this opportunity or look at that over there. We should consider it. But again, the
Right.
word light, and I don't trying to ascertain if this is more lightening up or literal light. I'm leaning more towards literal light for some reason. Perhaps it has a skylight or it has more windows or higher windows, but overall it just feels as if it's more lit naturally, more well
Hmm.
lit. And it's interesting
Mm,
because you don't feel like you're in a dark space where you're at. So that's really interesting to me.
right. Yeah.
Just know
Mm,
opportunities coming up.
okay.
You can say no, but if you say yes, again, there is more light. And to me, I equate more light to also being able to access all of the things that we want to access, and usually more rapidly, because light has a frequency in and of itself. So there's a higher vibration, a bigger frequency that goes out to the world. Think in terms of like this: when we go to a synagogue or a church, we light candles.
Right.
We, if you will, invoke the light. And I
Okay.
will say
All right.
that in the interim, if you're comfortable, get a candle or two for your grandpa, for your mom, possibly put it on the little altar that you made, and just thank them
Okay.
for have been in your life. Boy, I'm tripping over my tongue tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Also, I keep getting kitties around you, as in cats, not as in little kids with 2 footers. I'm getting like four footers. That sounded funny, but I think you understood what that meant.
Right.
But really and truly, there just seems to be a lot of cat, feline, I should say, energy around you right now. And it feels as if there's more that's to come in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Don't be
That's
surprised if perhaps a cat in the neighborhood gives birth near your home.
we have quite a few strays that we have come around here, so I will keep
So,
my eyes open for one.
yes, because again, I get kitties, and typically to me, that's, babies or smaller, unless it's a small cat that looks like a kitten. But I'm kind of feeling kittens coming around.
Oh boy, that'll make my kids happy.
Now, speaking of 2 footers versus 4 footers,
Right, right.
you really have, and I don't say this lightly, great kids. And what I mean by that is they are full of expression, full of personality, full of vim and vigor. You have moments where you want to go, just stop it. However, you have more moments where they crack you up. They really are funny kids. They are, if you will, full of life. And that's
They
wonderful.
are. They are definitely wonderful. Very
You know, we
proud of
all
them.
we all have children ourselves, or know somebody who has a child who might be cute or even funny at times, or smart, but they're children that you really don't want to spend any time around because all they do is create havoc. That's not yours. Yours
Right.
really are heart based, like you. Now, I'd love to tell
Yeah.
you they never got into any trouble. That's not really true. The eldest you have to watch because of curiosity.
Hmm.
Curiosity is a driving force that sometimes gets your eldest into trouble, just so you know.
Oh, yes.
Great kid, and yet you got to keep an eye out.
Definitely.
See, this is a child would think nothing of, let's say, having a couple of pet mice, and because they wouldn't necessarily be allowed in the bedroom or the bathroom in the house, they might turn around and put them in the mailbox for safekeeping, just to see how somebody would respond.
That is true.
So you have a fun environment. I will say, though, with all sincerity, be sure you are getting enough rest. You are definitely one of those moms who says, okay, I'm going to bed. And then you go, oh, but I need to do this. Oh, but you know what? I need to go over there and do, oh, I have to finish. And you may start
Yeah.
out at one time and then it's an hour, possibly longer, that it takes you to actually get to the bedroom. Do your best to look after you so you don't run down.
I have to remind myself that constantly.
Mhm. You don't have to be Superwoman every single day. Once a week is enough. And truly, if something doesn't get done before you go to sleep, there's always the next day. And to add to that, I will say that you could ask the kids for a little help. Not big help, but you could ask for little things. Honey, would you go ahead and put that over there? So it shortens up the time that you need to pay attention to everything. Or possibly even get
You
them
have to
into.
do that more.
Say that one more time, hon.
I do have to do that more. Yes.
Because see, the way that I see this is, again, you have a couple of great kids. Teach them things that they can help themselves with, and then they become more empowered just overall in their lives. And they're helping you is helping them.
Yeah.
Now, just real quick, upper back feels a little funky. I would suggest, if you're not already doing it and it doesn't feel like you are, before you get out of bed in the morning, do some stretching. Take the leg, throw it over to the other side, lift your arms up in the air, arch your back, but do some stretching so that you have some movement before you get out of bed, because the upper back is, I'm going to just use the word sensitive. And to me, a sensitivity is predisposition for something borderline, or something that's there that goes, hi, remember me. You don't really need the hi, remember me part.
Okay. I will definitely do that.
Okay, perfect. I'm so glad you called this evening. I'm glad that you and the children are having a wonderful Halloween. And when you do your altar, you can also write on a little paper a wish. Just fold it up and put it under something that's on the altar, and just kind of leave it there and see what happens.
Okay.
Your loved ones will help you get what you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Cheryl. Appreciate you. Have a great night.
Oh, I appreciate you. And you have a happy Halloween.
Thank you. Bye-bye. If you'd like to reach out to me, not on the air, but have a personalized reading over the phone or Zoom or in person at the office, you can call me at 561-755-2166. If not, I'm all over social media, but really the best way to reach me is either phone or text, and I will always get back to you. Sometimes it takes a little time, but I definitely will get back to you. Connect with your loved ones and the spirits around you simply by being open with love coming from the heart, and watch what happens. Lots of joy to be had, and this is a great time of the year to do it.